But what's up, guys? So today I'm gonna talk to you guys about something that's pretty important in my life and some lessons that I learned when it comes to having God in your life, when it comes to traversing through hard times, through storms, and just how to have faith and to keep fighting the good fight. So I hope if you guys, because this is my main channel, so I post mainly vlogs, challenges, gym stuff, baseball stuff, IRL videos. So this is something a little bit different, and I'm gonna have a podcast, and I already have a podcast, so the link will be in the description if you're interested. And it's gonna be about faith talk, relationships, um, basically anything, conspiracy theories, anything. And I'm gonna have my wife as my co-host, so she'll bring like a little bit different point of view. But she's not here right now; she's at work. But yeah, I just wanted to share a quick message of how God is in my life, helping me traverse through hard times. So I hope this means something to you guys, and I hope it reaches at least one person. And yeah, just sit back, and I just ultimately want to just help people find God because I found Him, and it would be selfish of me not to spread the good word. So just thank you guys for listening and viewing, and yeah, let's get into it. What I wanted to talk about was something that's very common for men, for males. Women can relate to it as well, honestly. This is something that's very common in today's age where we wanna do everything on our own, and we want to have everything figured out, and we want to just have the answers to everything and want everything figured out. We want to plan ahead. We want to plan our future. And as soon as it doesn't go our way, which guess what, 100% of the time it's not going to go your way, we panic and we feel lost. We feel scared. We lose faith, and things like that. And so my message today is just going to be about having faith, trusting God. And if you don't have Him, why you should find Him. Because honestly, like no matter what we think, we will never be able to traverse through life on our own wisdom because we just sadly don't have the answers to everything. We don't have the guidance, the proper guidance. We were all brought up different. We were brought up through trauma. Some of us were brought up through trauma. Some of us were brought up through broken homes. Some of us were brought up just, I guess, through not the proper, how can I say it? Through not the proper like guidance, not the best role models, I should say. So we're obviously all going to have different answers, different walks of life. But with that being said, that's why I say none of us have the true answer to how to live a life, especially one where we go through many things, many hardships, many storms. With that being said, I wanted to read Mark 4. So Mark 4 is basically a story of some fishermen that were on a boat with Jesus. And they thought they were going to die because the ocean and the waves were going crazy and a storm arose and they had no faith. But I'm going to read it and then explain it after. So Mark 4, verse 35, all the way to verse 41. So it starts. Wind and waves obeyed Jesus. On that day when evening had come, he told them, let's cross over to the other side of the sea. So they left the crowd and took him along. Him is Jesus, since he was in the boat and other boats were with him. A great windstorm arose and the waves were breaking over the boat so that the boat was already being swamped. He was in the stern sleeping on the cushion, so they woke him up and said to him, Teacher, don't you care that we're going to die? He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the sea, Silence, be still. The wind ceased, and there was a great calm. When he said to them, Why are you afraid? Jesus asked them, Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith? And they were terrified and asked one another, Who then is this? Even the wind and the sea obey him. So with that being said, I want to break this scripture down a little bit. So like I said, they were on a boat with Jesus, and a crazy storm arose, and they thought this storm was going to kill them. This was the end of them, and they had no faith. They thought it was over. Basically, there was water filling up the boat, things like that, and Jesus was in the stern, sleeping peacefully sleeping through a storm. And so they woke him up, and because they thought they were going to die, and they told him, like, do you not care we're going to die? Do you not care that we are going to die? And Jesus just got up and rebuked the storm, the wind. He said, Silence, be still. And the wind stopped, and there was a great calm. And Jesus asked them, do you still have no faith? So they did not have faith in Jesus. bringing it back to our current life, if we do not fully have faith in Jesus, any little storm that comes our way, we will think is the end of us. We will think that storm is going to take us out. We will think that that storm is the end of our life. Like in terms of like, oh man, like I didn't get that job, like my life is over. Like, oh man, we can't get a house right now. The rates are up. Oh man, someone just hit my car and I can't pay it. Like storms are troubles in our life that we have zero control of. And when we have no faith, it feels like we can't get out of that storm. We feel like that storm is going to consume us. But in reality, that storm, when we have faith in Jesus, we have peace. We have a great calm as Jesus had. Imagine being so peaceful. Imagine having such a calm, like heart. Imagine having such a calmness because you have faith. Jesus was not fearing for his life. He was sleeping peacefully in that boat through this crazy storm, through the crazy wind. He was sleeping peacefully. Imagine us, if any hardship we encountered, we had peace in our heart that through our storms, knowing that with faith we can get through them. And I feel like that's a big like jump, because not many of us can just do it off the bat. Like it's going to take time and practice and faith, most importantly faith. But once we understand that God is in control, then we will have peace through every storm. And that's something no one can take away from you. That's the best coping mechanism. And it honestly like can change your life, your thought process, everything. And just what I like about the Bible is like everything relates to our life now. And this book was written thousands of years ago. And like for it to like relate to our life now, like goes to show like how sacred and how pure the word is, that Jesus knew what was going to happen. He knew that we can go left or right, which is good and evil. He knew things like that. And this book is a testament that when you follow the good word, it brings you nothing but peace, brings you nothing but joy, and brings you a roadmap to follow in life. Because like I said, many of us have many walks of life where we're brought up with, like I said, broken homes, trauma, things like that, where we have a different viewpoint in life. But if you were to read the Bible and practice what it says and understand what it says, we would all have a way of living that is like bigger than us, and it shows us how to live, and shows us that when you put your faith in somebody bigger than yourself, as in Jesus, that nothing's impossible. And that void we had, that we were brought up into, and we felt lost and miserable and had no answers to life, are like now answered because you have that void filled. Something I like to say a lot, and it's in this Brandon Lake song. He's a Christian singer. That if God is not in your life, no matter what you have in your life, millions of dollars, mansion, anything, the best job, if you do not have God in your life, that void will never be filled. You will always feel an emptiness. And like lately, like I've been feeling like stuck. I've been feeling stuck a little bit in terms of like trying to be like the provider for my wife and I. Like I'm almost done with school, and I'm trying to like see my options and see what's the best position I can put myself in for my family. Because within this year, Jesus has consumed my life in like the best possible way. I don't know where I would be if it was not for finding Jesus, because I know I could not traverse in this life by myself. And I know there's many people out there that feel lost and stuck and things like that. And having Jesus in your life, like, fills that void that no one could ever fill, and gives us a peace that, hey, like we can get through anything if we have Jesus. And with that being said, I wanted to share Proverbs 16:9. It says, "A person's heart plans his way, but the Lord determines his steps." Like I said, we can have everything figured out and planned out to a T, but guess what? Not everything goes our way. And when not everything goes our way, we panic. We feel lost. We feel scared. We feel like it's the end of the world for us. But when you put your full faith in Jesus, he will determine our steps. We just need to let him know. We need to talk to him daily about our goals. And guess what? If God doesn't lead you down the path that you want, it's because he has something better for you. He has a different purpose for you. And the only way you would ever know that is if you just commit to the Lord. You commit to him and just tell him your worries. Tell him what you want, and as long as it's never selfish, even as long as it's never selfishly like for you, you do it selflessly. You like just build a better relationship with him as you traverse through life. He will always determine your steps. I really like this verse because it shows me that God has a plan for me, and that I just need to keep working hard, keep praying, keep being a loving husband, and keep working for him and not for myself and my selfish needs, that I know he will lead me down the path that I need to be on, not the path that I choose, but the path that he chose for me. And something else another verse I wanted to share was 1 Peter 5 verse 7. Casting all your cares on him because he cares about you. So many of us don't have someone to share our struggles with, or our worries, or anything of that nature. But guess what? There's one person who will always listen. There's one person who's always watching, and there's one person that will always do things for your greater good, and that is Jesus. Never feel alone. Never feel like you don't have an ear. Never feel that you can't share anything with anybody, because Jesus listens. All you have to do is close your eyes, have faith, and just talk to him. He's there. He listens. There's this cool thing that I found out, like, how do you speak to Jesus? Some people don't even know how to speak to Jesus, and that's okay, because not everybody's brought up that way. But I saw this video, and it was interesting. It was like, just close your eyes and pretend he's sitting right in front of you, and just talk like you're having a regular conversation. And that really stuck out to me, because now when I pray and stuff, I'm like, I genuinely feel his presence. I genuinely feel his presence, that he's listening, and that everything I'm saying is being heard, and it really lifts stress off my shoulders, and I know it can for you guys as well. And there's one last verse I wanted to share that is so strong. So there's this podcast called the Amen Podcast on YouTube. I'm sure they're on other platforms, but I found them on YouTube. They talked about this, and it was like, whoa, like it hit me hard. So it's John 1, verse 5, and it says, "The light shines in the darkness, and yet the darkness did not overcome it." Jesus is the light. Just think about that. Jesus is the light, and the light shines in the darkness, and yet the darkness did not overcome it. Do you know how strong? Imagine this massive room of darkness. Imagine the smallest ray of light peeking through, and that light is Jesus, and the darkness is your depression, your anxiety, your worries, your stress. That small light of Jesus that you let into your life will light that darkness. And guess what? The darkness cannot overcome that light. And like the Bible says, and yet the darkness did not overcome it. Just think about that. Your darkness is your depression, your anxiety, your worries, your stress. You just let the smallest part of Jesus into your life. The smallest part of Jesus into your life. When he is that light, the darkness cannot overcome that light. Never. How do you let Jesus into your life? This is how because I call myself a new believer. I was baptized in July, and hopefully I could sit on the podcast with my wife and we could talk about that experience. I lost my train of thought, but so this is how this is how I started letting Jesus into my life. So I just started reading the word, actually, and through podcast. I started reading the word, listening to the word through podcast. And it transitioned to attending church. And then attending church was like I used to go to church and not even listen. I used to just sit there bored, look at my watch. I didn't even have a watch. I was young. Just wait till church would end, and it would feel like a drag. I wouldn't even hear a word. I'd go in Spanish, and it was just like not interesting to me at the time. But now I go and I'm like locked in. I'm like sitting on the edge. I'm like listening. I'm taking notes. So is my wife, and she's locked into. It's crazy how much we've grown, but that's for another podcast. But anyways, like I was saying, like I just started letting God into my life by worship music. Worship music is heavy. I listen to a lot of worship music. Not really secular music, because we don't know the intentions of secular music, and anything of the devil can just push you away from God and you not even realize it. But I just started reading the Bible. I started listening to worship music. I started having conversations with my wife about God. After church, I would ask questions to my wife. I would look at YouTube videos. There's so many ways, especially with technology and social media and things, where you can find God. Now my Instagram is flooded with verses and stuff, and it's just like, if you want it, you will get it, basically. If you want something bad enough, you can have it. It's at the touch of your fingertips. It's at the palm of your hand. It just depends how bad you want it. But ultimately, I just wanted to make this video just to shine some light that we all go through storms, and no storm is impossible. No storm is impossible. You just need to have faith in one person, and that's Jesus. If you have faith in Jesus, you can get through any storm. No storm will ever take you out, ever. And most importantly, you're not alone. You're not alone in a fight. There's nothing new under the sun. That means that someone's experiencing what you're experiencing, and it's in a positive way. It's not the end of the world, because you can overcome anything with faith. And everybody has a different walk of life. We can all find God. It's just a matter of if you want to or not. And he's waiting for you. And trust me, when you do find him, it'll be the best decision you ever made, because you will have some peace in your heart, some peace that was never there, a void that was never filled and can't be filled unless you have Jesus. But thank you guys for listening. I'm going to start doing a podcast with my wife on a second channel. It's not just going to be Bible talk. It's going to be life talk, relationship talk. I'm into like YouTube boxing and a bunch of crazy things like that. So talk about stuff like that. Just an entertaining platform for us where we can talk about anything and everything. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope this message meant something to somebody out there. As long as it reaches one person, that's all I care about. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm just doing this to shine a light on Jesus, someone who is the core foundation of my life. And it would be selfish of me not to share that with you guys. But thank you guys for listening, viewing, and thank you guys. Seriously.